Hey, class. On with this. Okay, so I'm gonna, that ended up being 18 minutes, sorry. I'm gonna go and, let's see, what am I thinking? Yuck. So I'm just gonna keep working on the background a little bit here. So this is fairly dry. It's probably not super dry because I'm sort of rushing the process a bit. So this is my second go around with it. And I'm not sure where I'm going with it yet, other than I'm, again, trying to build up layers. I'm going with the white with just a tiny, that's less bit of yellow. Except for there. So eventually I'm gonna tone this down with white, I think, to get it, because the wall behind the jar is white. But I wanted the yellow to be, it's kind of the complement of the colors I'm using in the jar. It's kind of a violet. So I just wanted the wall to sort of complement that, at least at this stage of the game. Like I said, eventually I'll probably mix it or tone it down to a little bit more of a true white. Maybe, I don't know, we'll just kind of see how it goes. But that's an example of what I'm talking about. I want a different brush, that one wasn't working for this. You know, I make little plans, but not big plans, right? I think I want to tone that down a bit, but I just don't know yet. We'll just see how it goes. One of the ways I can tell a good painting from a bad painting is what the brush marks are doing between things. So I look at, like, say, this edge here and this edge and just ask myself, okay, what's going on in there? You know, is the painter just filling stuff in? Are they just filling in space, or are they filling in space in an interesting way? Even like supposedly I use this word carefully or cautiously or with, you know, reservations, but the blank space, the space around here, the wall, is not empty space. It's an important, oh God, mooch that. It's an important part of the composition, the space behind the container, right? So the lid, I'm not, right now I'm just, the lid just feels very, well, it all feels very stylized or simplified, too simple. I need to, I'm gonna, actually I'm shifting gears here. I'm gonna rinse off my brush and work on the dark tones. There's some strong dark tones down there I wanna get. I'm gonna use a little bit of a smaller brush, get back into my purple mixture here. I'm mixing blue with some red, and then just a touch of orange to dull it down here. Because the jar has some really strong lights and darks. The other trick to painting glass, transparent glass, is to kind of just look through it. What's going on inside of it, inside the glass? Like what's going on in there? The lid also has much stronger contrast than I'm painting in there, so I'm gonna go in there with some dark tones now too. Oops, oof, that was wet. Yeah, ugh. I'm gonna smear it a little bit, give it some character. Again, I'm thinking in terms of layers, so even though I'm like kind of smearing these areas, I'm going to be working on them again in a minute. The bottom here is much lighter, so I'm going to bring some white in. It's also much smaller. That's way too big. This whole area is too big, so I'm going to grab this smaller brush, and you can't be afraid to adjust things. I need my paper towels. I forgot my paper towels, dang it. You can't be afraid to adjust things. So I just noticed that area, you know, this part in the jar, like I made it gigantic. It's way too big. So I'm just gonna go in there with a dark tone and correct it. Really starts kind of that far in. It's even smaller. Yeah, that's better. I'm gonna bring some of this dark tone. Down. Yeah, it's better. There's a kind of shadows in the foreground of that oval. One of the things to watch out for when you're painting is, you know, how do your forms exit and enter the canvas? That's a really important thing to think about. Like right here, you want to suggest to the viewer that this continues down like that, right? You don't want to just go and then, you know, you sort of want to just go like that to make it feel like it's a continuous form off the page. That's better. Now I'm looking at this whole area here. I'm gonna have to get some more paint in a minute, so it'll be time to stop the video. It's pretty dark. At some point, I'll probably be going over this with some transparent black. at that. This cap's really super tricky. It has a ton of different, first of all, it's shiny. I need to go get paper towels. I want to pause this anyway. I'm gonna kind of whack this for a minute. Give it some, okay, that whole thing of blending, right? Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do this. It's gonna give it character. You cover all that up anyway. Got a little too aggressive there. Let me just go back in there quick with some. It's more of a gray. Touch of that in there. I think I'm gonna start putting the flash stuff in this. My lights create a specific kind of look here. Just to start getting those in. So I'm putting these highlights in, and the first thing I notice is there has to be much more contrast between the highlight and the space around these. So that means I need to make this much grayer, the inside of the bottle. What I see, it's not gray enough. It's gotten too white. So I'm gonna mix up quick here this blue with a little bit of orange in there. With some white. Much better. Eventually, I got a better color for what I'm seeing through the bottle. Okay, that was the idea here. Oh God, this video is probably really long now. Let me just do one more thing because this paint's going to dry. that, yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna put a wash of white on top of that. Again, to try to, that idea of layers, layering. I want this to read as whiter with the yellow undertones. So I'm thinning down the white paint and just kind of washing it across that. Right, that's kind of wet, but it's okay. It's still dry, or still wet, so I can't really wash on top of that. Okay, this is looking like a big mess right now, which I love. That means there's some room for me to move. Okay. Got that darker. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna let that sit. This thing went on way too long. Okay, ooh, 20 minutes.